Welcome back to another stream. Hope you guys are having a good day. So we should keep on modeling a robot. But first, let's do our little setup as per usual. So I'm going to turn on modeler. Then I'm going to bring up a new window, tear off a pane copy. Alt-3 to set it to, oops, okay, my first mistake of the stream. So let's see if we can come back. Let me do sim view here. And now Alt-3 here. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to try for this stream was the align tool. Because yesterday we got a new tutorial from Alexei, and yeah, it shed some light into the mysteries of the tool. So we should try it. So why don't we do that? Maybe we can try it out with, let's make things simple for ourselves first. Let me do a new geometry. I think the music might be too loud. So let's go for something more chill like that. Okay, so let me come here and I'm gonna say we need to create two objects, right? Let's do that. Yeah, let me create two objects here. So shift right click. Oh, okay. First I need to turn on modeler, of course. So shift right click and I'm gonna do a cube box. Then the next thing that I'm gonna do is a cube sphere, something like that. Now let me just come here, and these two guys, I want to put them into a subnet, and I want to hide others. And I believe if I come here, okay, obviously, yeah, the other models were going to disappear. But anyways, I believe we can work with this. So I think we can align, maybe let's try to align these faces against this one. So let's see if that works. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, and obviously this is the best test because we have the different geometries on different objects. So that should be the usual use case for us. You know that I usually work with different objects all the time. So let's go and use the align tool. Okay, now we have several, if I understood the tutorial correctly, we have several methods of aligning. The easiest one is point to point, which let's try that one, which is the less precise. So let's click this guy, and so we click this guy and we can point it to, I believe this one, for this one to work, maybe we need to, never mind. Yeah, we need to, it only works with points. So let's make this easy for the align tool. So let's say I want to put this in the middle. Obviously, this is not ideal, but since it's point to point, let's just do that. So we come here and I notice that I make a small mistake. So let me, instead of doing that, let me select everything. This is another trick that I learned. I used to press N all the time, but I noticed, Alexei gave us this tip where if I press escape, it's going to select everything that is underneath the mouse. Yeah. Basically, it's the same thing as N. Actually, let me see if it's everything underneath the mouse or only. Yeah, basically it's N. Instead of pressing N, we press escape, which is drop selection or select everything. And yeah, I think this works better. So anyways, let's press escape to select everything. Now we do aligned, which is here. And we say point to point. And we want to point this guy to this guy. And now it's working. So we got that that type of alignment. Now let's try to use the next set of options, which is basically we can do something very similar from point to point using only the first direction, but then we can, let's say, correct it further or align it further using the second direction. So we use two axes. Axes? Is that the right way to say it? So anyway, let's figure this out. So let me first here, and I need to select the faces. Okay, only one face it seems. So let me do this point, and then I'm going to select this other point. Did that do anything? I think that for these ones to work, they need to be okay, never mind. Let me see. Okay. Now let's say I want to align this point to this point. Let's see what happens if I do that. So it will be like this point to this point. Okay, yeah, I think I figured it out. This is definitely a very advanced tool, especially if you want to use all the options. It's really powerful, actually. Yeah. Not the easiest one to use. Hey, man. It's not the easiest one to use, but I think we can get the most out of it only using the point to point. And then if we don't want to struggle too much and you just want to go with the flow, you finish the alignment by yourself using the rotate tool, for example. So let's go over it again. So basically, let me select everything and then do align once again, just to recap, right? So this is placed in order, in the order that we should be doing it, right? From top to bottom. So first one is point to point, and this is how the tool gets its the main data. Okay, where do I need to move this, right? And then after we move it, we need to tell it how it should align itself with its target. So for example, maybe we want to align this guy to this guy. Let's see what happens if we do that. So this guy with this guy, and then I should be able to, yeah, like so. But if we wanted further alignment, maybe we can select this guy and then align it with this guy. Okay, we definitely need to practice this more. Yeah. If I do a reset, pivot from ground, what does this do? Oh, so this is basically like a center. This is nice. What if I do choose center? What is the difference between these two? I wonder. Pivot from ground and center. What will be the difference? I think maybe we need to look at the documentation, but for now I think this should be enough. So now we have a faster way of aligning these guys. So let me see, for example, if I do this and then let me choose tweak a second, because there is something that I do all the time. Let me select turned off turn on visible geometry only and delete these guys. So if I do this, and instead of I do align, and then I do only on X and say pivot from ground or center. Okay. Basically, we can use align to also put our selection in the center. So if I press align and let's say I only want to put it on X, on the X axis, I just do center, like so. And that's really powerful. But if we want to make it super precise, I think we need to do two operations. The first one will be just to flatten to the side, like so, and then align, and we center it, but only on X. Turn this off, like so, and now we have it perfectly centered and also flatten it to on X, and that's really cool. So yeah, I think I was using align all this time, but now we just discovered more functionality. So yeah, I think that was it basically. So now back to our regularly scheduled robot modeling. Hopefully we don't get any more brain fog. So what should we do today? I think today we should maybe work a little bit on the knees. We definitely need to improve this transition right here, and they're looking too big right now. What else should we be working on? And also polishing the spine. Maybe we should work on the spine first. Yeah, the spine and the knees. I think that's good enough for today. Okay, let's just come here and do that. If you remember correctly, we did the extra pieces from the spine using instances, let's say. These are not your usual instances. These are more like just pack copies, but they serve the purpose as well. But you could call them instances because at least if you're rendering using RefGIF, for example, you can tell RefGIF to instance pack geometry. So I think it's fair to call them instances. Octane as well. You can tell Octane to instance pack geometry, although it's way easier to do in RefGIF. Although, to be fair, Octane recently did some enhancements to that. Okay, maybe we can just copy, because I mean, if you notice, this one has more detail. We spent a little bit more time with this one last stream, so maybe we can just get rid of these two guys and then just do Control D for duplicate. Well, at least it's Control D for me because there is the chance that I changed the shortcut and I don't even remember. So let me do this and okay, man, what is happening here? Okay, I see the problem now. So let's do component. Yeah, the component is messing with us. So let's just do this instead. By the way, if you press M, you switch between the modes. You can see here that says world, viewport, construction plane, component, and object. This is vanilla Houdini. This is not from Modeler. Just a reminder of that. Now we can. I think we using the tweak tool in this case is way better. So for the next copy, we're just going to do that. Actually, maybe we should do instances of these guys as well. I don't know. What do you think? because it will be nice to model and then see the changes propagate throughout the copies. That would be a better way to do it. So let me just put this to the side, and instead we're going to delete this guy. And we need to, if you notice, all of these guys are part of this object. So if we want to do this effectively, we need to extract it. And we know that the extract command is here. We also have these guys that I should extract as well. So let me first just make sure we don't lose these guys. And let's maybe put this here, or maybe on the back. We're gonna use it later. But for now, let's just focus on what matters. So let me just put this back on the center. So, okay, sorry. Put this back on the center. I'm using the tweak tool right now. Okay. That's good. So onto the copies. So the best way to do this, at least with this current setup, will be, because we can do instances. The modeler supports instances like this. Let's say I have this object selected. We can come here and do an instance. I believe it's around here, or maybe around here. Let me find it. Instances will be, if I can find it, be here. Okay. We can do an instance, for example. Now I can move it up. Maybe do instances support center pivot? Okay, they don't. But okay, let's see. Let's assume it works and the pivot is correctly placed. We still have the problem that it doesn't get mirrored. So they don't get mirrored. So the best way to do this would be like, first let's name it, and we can do it like, we can do it here, and we can put spined joint, for example, piece. So we have it as reference, and then we make a new geometry. Then we can do this. We create an output object, and this is the one we're going to use. We're going to keep modeling from here, but this is the one we're going to reference in the copies. So this is going to be joint copies. Let's be even more explicit. And now we do an object merge, and we paste the direction. I used copy paste before, and we say into this object, right? And we packed before merging. Let's ignore that for now. And now I can come here and do a transform. And in the transform, I can set it to centroid. And if I do this, now we have these copies. So now we can align these guys properly. And we're going to turn this into proper geometry later. But for now, it's good that these guys are instance, so that we can do like we can do a better model. Okay, let's get back to this. Let's move this up. And I'm having trouble with the direction of this gizmo. There is this shortcut in Houdini that we can use to tweak up the pivot rotation. I believe it's called, I know the shortcut. It's pivot mode. Now we could just maybe come to the side and do our usual setup. And we can align it a bit better, like so. And then we exit the pivot mode. Okay, as you saw, it's insert, the insert key. Now this is better. Now we can just copy and paste this guy. We have another instance. Obviously, we're only seeing one because we're only displaying one of them. So this one should be more like this. And let me just do a merge here, and let's make sure we output this guy. So now this should be working better. I know we're not getting the mirror yet, but we're gonna figure that out later. So we're gonna come back to this guy because I think we're gonna make another joint. Yeah. We're gonna make another joint. Whoops. Okay, so I did this before. Let me see how I did it because I don't remember. If I do this, these guys are in the main modeling section. They are. So this is the spline. Okay, so I see how this is. So let me just group these two guys for now here. I know this looks a bit unorganized, and it is, but let's just not focus on that for now. Once the model is done, we're gonna do an awesome job at organizing this. You guys will love to see that because we're gonna organize it in a way that once we get it into Solaris, is gonna come neatly organized. And you're not gonna believe how easy it is, actually. Uh, there's some neat functionality between OBJ and the import from Solaris. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and let's just focus on this one. So the first thing to do is obviously let's make this work. And this is gonna be like, okay, I think I selected the wrong set of guys. Okay, these are the ones. So let's make them blue. This we're gonna make them yellow, and this is gonna be basically like the spine group, something like that. So for this one to work, the only thing that we need to do is refresh our expression. You have seen me do that a couple of times now, and now it's working. I'm gonna share this HDA. We did this HDA on a previous stream, which is gonna be uploaded to the YouTube soon. And it's not too complicated, but I figure I can also share it. Anyways, so let's come back to this guy, and we were thinking on modeling this. So let's first, okay, this is making a bit more sense now. So what I need to do is get into this guy and let's set it up. And I swear a lot of people think that I don't use nodes because I have always been praising like, okay, let's use modeler and don't use nodes, just full screen viewport stuff. As if we weren't using a nodal software. But we're gonna be using lots of nodes later. It's just that, you know, I love the traditional yeah, man, who doesn't love HDAs? And actually, I did the HDA live, by the way. I did it on stream. It's a pretty simple. The mirrored HDA, it's pretty simple. But yeah, I mean, I think I show a couple of tricks there. So yeah, I love making HDAs. So like I was saying, we're gonna be using loads of nodes and procedural setups, especially the rigging, because we're gonna rig this guy. It's gonna be a mechanical rig, and it's gonna be awesome. Okay, never mind. I think I make a mistake here. I got too excited for a second. So let me just come back here and let me reposition this guy. And I think we can also reposition this one, but okay. Okay, so for the people that are watching, just want to do a little tease, getting excited. Do you use symmetrized tools in Modeler? I do. I do use them. The only problem is that they are not so useful when you work this particular way. They're really useful if you're only focusing on one object, but if you are doing several objects, and if you're doing a mech, a robot, you are going to be using a lot of objects. It's not so useful. And I did this feature request, and I believe Alexa is going to come up with something. But for now, the OBJ mirror HDA that we did worked beautiful. I mean, it's works really well. So yeah, but I do use the symmetrized tools. I use all the symmetry options, and I'm trying to get into the habit of using this other set of tools, which are also for mirroring, but they work a little bit different. But yeah, speaking about that tease, there's something really interesting going on with the arm actually. So the arm right now it's turned off because it's too much visual information, but the arm is basically the piece that is the most complete out of the whole robot. So let's just focus on that just for a second, because people think that I don't use nodes, and that's just not right. So basically this guy, it's all assembled, more or less rigged, at least FK rigged for now. But we have at least one neat little thing here, which is if I come here, you can see that if I do this, we have a joint that is controlling. Let me see if I can improve the performance here. We have a joint that is controlling a blend shape. And it should be opening up fully, but I don't know why. It's been a while since I got into this guy. Let me see. Okay, I think I need to do this. Then come back here, and then in this rig pose, yeah. And obviously I can also do, let me see. It's not allowing me to rotate. But now it should. Okay, so why are you not letting me rotate? I mean, if I select this guy, yeah, it's the okay. Never mind. It was a bug, But yeah, we can do this, and we can also. Oh man, the rig pose is really having some trouble right now. But yeah, so it's pretty functional once it works. But yeah. Oh, I know. You know what? I know why. I need to turn off modeler. Yeah, that's it. Since the rig pose is a Python state and modeler is also kind of on top of Houdini, they don't get along very well. So you either have one enable or the other. And now, yeah, it works better. So, and we can also do this. So that's pretty cool. Never mind. Let's go back. I'm gonna be teaching on string how to do all of this, and also on a YouTube tutorial. Let me just press Control C a lot. Yeah. That's gonna be fun. But obviously I need to finish the whole robot. Anyways, so we're working on this guy, and I want to add another joint. So let's just do that. So let me switch to this guy, and now I need to turn on modeler. And copy and paste, then merge, press enter to get into the state. And since we are copy and pasting the same node, we have our pivot aligned. So that's neat. So I think we should be making these guys a bit smaller. I mean, it is looking too large, I think. So there is another thing that we need to get rid of, and that is these guys. They were part of the initial geometry for... Let me just put them back. They were part of the initial geometry for the spine. So let me use the lasso like that and turn this off. Go for points and just select the whole thing, and then I can move them down. It's the first thing, and then I can use quick pivot here and move this down like so. Now I can slide. And I'm thinking I can also do an auto flatten. Next is, let's make this guy a bit smaller. So I can select this point and move it using the tweak tool on the inside, and maybe here as well. Same thing here. Now we have something like that. I think that's enough space. I think we used enough space. We created enough space. So let me see how this looks with subdivisions. And obviously it's gonna be really fun once we start subdividing everything and adding more detail, but for now, I want you to just keep this as low poly as possible. So let me just do this. I mean, this is like a... Not sure really what this piece is about, but just put it inside like so. And obviously we need to reposition the joints. Just move these guys down. So using the tweak tool. Okay. Okay. So let's reposition these guys. No, it would be cool if I could select all of these guys and, you know, just manipulate them all at once. But yeah. And actually, there is a way for us to do that if we did copies with object merge. If we did copies with object merge, then we could do just that. Actually, that's not a bad idea at all. Okay, I'm thinking we need to go one by one so that this makes sense. So let me just do this. So we do this quickly. Now I select these guys and I do this. Now I can select this guy, for example, and we position this guy. Then we go to the other nodes, do this. Now we go to, oh, I think I just made a mistake. Okay. Now we move on to this guy. Now this one's good. So I need to come back to the joints. Okay. It's a bit confusing, I know. Okay, and we could do this procedurally, but since we are modeling, I want to keep this a bit more traditional, let's say. Especially because if we start introducing like a procedural setup in between all of the traditional modeling, we're gonna be we're not gonna be able to stay how should I say, full screen, which currently we are not. So I want to get back to that. So let me just delete the history for now because those were too many nodes. So let me say, let me slide this up. Okay, never mind. Let me just select the whole thing and I can just tweak it up like so. Then we may come here and let's make another copy. And this will be the last guy that we arrange. So this is going to be more or less here for now. This should be good enough. Yeah. Now we can model a little bit better. For example, I can select all of this and push it back. Maybe even extrude this out and this one like so. Same thing here. We can slide it. And then we have these guys, which we can move up and forward, like so. And maybe we can just extrude this side. Let me do a cut, and I can just extrude these guys, like so. Then let's do an extension. And something like that. I can come here and slide this guy so the topology is just a little bit neater. And do one more cut. And I can, oops, I can slide this guy. No, never mind. I can push these two guys to the front. Or I should say, use the tweak tool to move them forward. Now we get something like that. And I'm feeling like we could bevel these guys and push this one down. This one just a little bit. This one a little bit front and a little bit more tweaking. Like so. Yeah. Obviously, we're already modeling stuff that are not going to be visible yet. But yeah, I mean, we have been spending so much time with this guy that, believe me, I'm going to be making renders of every single piece. I mean, every single piece that is cool enough. So, yeah. So let me choose to space this guy support. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. I think it's a good chance to finally hide the nodes and start working full screen. Isn't that cool? Let me choose do this, move these guys maybe here. Now we have our nodes. Okay. So how is this looking right now? If I make if I do show all, this is pretty cool. So another thing that we could do is like make a bit of space for maybe an inside extrusion. So let me see if I do an extension, I push it in like so, then I scale it down, but let's scale it down from the edge. So I will do quick pivot and put it on the edge, and we could do shift, sorry, we could do, let me go back. So because I want to do this right. So let's do this again. So I do an extension, push it in. Then I'm going to tweak the pivot to here, right? But it's aligned inappropriately. So if I press shift now and select this edge, it's going to aim here. And now I can scale it like so. Maybe I can scale it up and down as well. Now I can select this edge and do that. So now it's looking a bit better here. So let me just select the whole thing and do a flatten and make sure it's properly set up, it's placed properly in the middle. Hey man, Cyprian, how are you doing? Oh, you're welcome, man. That's such a great course. That's such a great course. So glad that it was useful. Okay, so we have been working on the spine. So I feel like we could also push these guys out. Let me see. Maybe we need to add one more edge loop here. So I can select it from the top. Like so. And then I can push it out. Let me push this one in instead. We could use peak. So it goes inside along the normal. Then I can slide this guy. Like so. Or maybe only the edge. So we use tweak and move it to the side. And I use tweak a little bit more. And then maybe, okay, I tweak it down. Now this is looking a bit messy, but let me just see how it will look subdivided. So maybe this sort of detail is not appropriate yet. There's another thing about the subdivision modeling workflow is that I should say SDS, yeah, subdivision surface modeling workflow, which is, let's say we cannot push this model any further with the current density. What we usually do is just select everything and I do a subdivide, and then we have a lot more detail. And after I do that, I keep adding, let's say, extra detail, and now I can keep pushing. And obviously we keep subdividing, but I mean, it's too soon for that still. But we're gonna do that later. You know, this guy is bothering me a little bit, so maybe let me just do it better. So I do this, and then let's see what happened with this guy. Okay. Now we need to clean it up. It's a little cumbersome. Okay, maybe it's so cumbersome that it's better to just do it by hand. So the way we do this by hand, let me just hide everything. That's way better. I should have done that from the start. Is to, let me delete this, and I can choose with the pen tool, one of the best features of Modeler. I can select this guy and then slide it like so. Maybe I select the whole thing and I slide it. So now it's I think it's a little bit better. For now, at least. Yeah. Okay, I think we need to do the same thing here. Although here is gonna be a bit more complex. But if we think about it, this piece is not gonna be part of this mesh. So why don't we, and I'm gonna do Shift H, select to float fill, X, and I'm gonna paste it. Never mind, let me just do something first. By the way, guys, if this happens to you that you copy and paste and the object the copy gets pasted anywhere else, it's because you introduce object transformations because of this guy. So what do you do then? Because it's cool to be able to move objects, it's just that some operations in Modeler will take that offset into account and they will just do weird stuff. Like, for example, I select this and you copy and paste and it's gonna get pasted in a different place based on that offset. So the fix will be, this is inside Modeler, we just freeze the transformations and the object doesn't move physically, but what happens is the object transformations get reset. And if you're curious enough, what happens is that we get, say, a transform that sets it up back to 0. I think this is a mistake. Now it should work properly. I think this is a bug. That the object doesn't take into account the next. Let me type this. Okay, let's just keep this in mind so I can send that over. I think this is a bug. The reset transform doesn't take into account the, how should I say this, the output. I think that's gonna be enough for me to remember it so I can report it. Anyway, so the point is that now that we effectively reset the transforms, now if I copy and paste, you see that they get pasted in like you will imagine they will. So anyways, that's cool. So let's come here and ghost, and I can, for example, feel like I can slide this guy a little bit, and maybe we can round this guy somewhat, and let's do one more loop cut and push this guy out, down. Okay, so let me just do this and maybe, okay, so let me move this guy up. So I want to move it exactly along this edge, so I do quick pivot and I move it up like so. But I mean, this is good, but let me try something a little bit different. Let me do an extension, not an extrusion, sorry, an extension, like so. Obviously we get this, which is not, it's not ideal. So what do you do in that case? We need to, okay, let me see if we can figure out the best way to add this sort of detail. because I want to learn some cool techniques as well. Okay, so the main problem is that we get these faces. So the way we fix that will be, okay, maybe I can do this and only get these faces, and then I can use an edge loop like so. Then I delete these two guys. Then we can select this and then do a fuse like so. And I can select this and then this, and then I do a bridge. Not sure about that, but I mean, that worked. I'm just not sure about the amount of work. Maybe there is a faster way. Give me just a second to reply to a few messages. Okay, so I mean that should be enough for some early detailing. Maybe let's just push it a little bit more. I feel like we could make a bit of negative space around this area, maybe even this section right here. So I could just do that, and then I can push it in. Then I could, you know what? That's looking good. And I forgot to separate this area. So let's just do that. So the way we do that is just select these guys like this with the lasso tool. Then I cut and paste. And now we got two separate pieces. That's good. Yeah, yeah, I think that's a fast way to do it. So just to recap, you basically do an extension, but don't do the side, just so that you have enough visibility to erase, for example, what it's here, and then you can just do a bridge. Like for example, we select these guys and then these guys. Okay, let me finish that by hand and do a bridge. So yeah, that's not as slow at all. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. So anyways, let me just ghost the other stuff and okay, so let's just do one more thing for now. Let me push this a bit out, like so. Okay, maybe it's a good idea to first, let me just close this guy. So I do this and this, and imagine this. If I do this selection and I do a bridge, the normal bridge command have options to do arcs and curves and that sort of thing. For example, this, if I do curve mode, we can do arcs, and I can use magnitude and stiffness and stuff like that. Really cool, right? But it doesn't. For example, let's say I want to make automatic connections here. I don't have to do them by hand, and that's why we have two different bridge tools. So one is based in the standard bridge tool from Houdini, and the other one is based on another tool. I forgot the name. But if we do that, you can see that it makes the connections automatically, which is it's really handy actually. So I can come here and push these guys out. And the reason I want to do that is because to select this, and let me do an inset like that. And let me select. Okay, let me see what will the best way to do this. I think we can choose manage with the pen tool actually. So the thing that I want to do is choose to make another level. And what I mean by that is this. Come on. Okay. Now let me select what's inside. Obviously we get this piece, but I can also extract it like that. Normally you see me do Shift A, and if I use Shift, I can select a loop. And with Shift, I add it to the current selection. But if I do Control A, I do the opposite. I subtract it. So yeah. So after doing that, I can just make an extrusion or maybe an extension without losing the... I think we're gonna lose the selection anyways. Damn. Yeah, sorry guys. Let's do the selection one more time. Maybe I can do it like this and then grow it. Yeah. And then I subtract this guy. Like so. And then I do an extension. And I align this guy with this edge with T. Like so. Obviously, we're going to have the same problem as before, but I think I'm going to solve it differently this time. Can just do Control X, then paste. Then I can isolate. I can select this guy, and I can just slide this like so. Press I again, and let me select this, and then I can do a bridge. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Now I have this level here. That is all that I wanted to do. Now I can slide these guys. Maybe I can, you know, how should I say that? Align these two sections, or I should say align this loop with this loop. I cannot figure out a good way to do it. Let's maybe use the fall off tool. And that's gonna be horizontal. Now I can move it up like so and do linear. Okay, that's good. Now I can come back here and select, can slide that up a little bit. Okay, let me see what will be a good way to do that. Let me continue this selection and I can slide it up and slide this out. Okay, it's only working on one. Okay, now never mind. Center it. And if we add just a little bit more topology here, yeah, this is by far my favorite section, this one. Now if we push these two guys closer, if we move these guys closer, like that, we should get a more defined edge. Obviously, we can keep adding detail, but I'm trying to to take it easy with that. Just push this out and maybe move these guys closer. Or maybe we can push this hole even further. We need negative space after all. So let me select this and I can align the transform using this edge. Then I move it out like so. Yeah. And I'm not liking how this is up now. So one thing we could do is just select the whole thing and do a flatten auto. And we could do the same thing here actually. Oh, we need to repeat the command, obviously. Yeah. Actually, we can do that for the whole thing. Shift N. Yeah. Obviously, it gets a little bit offset, but we can fix that. Okay, let me see if we can get this working. Okay, maybe this can be like a module that gets attached to this. Maybe. So I can slide this to the side like so. And we can keep this like that for now. Okay, maybe not. Maybe we need to make it look proper. So let me just ghost everything so that we can see it better. Let me put this to the side and let me hide or delete all of these HUDs. And these armor pieces, maybe we can move them up. Yeah, that's better. So let me focus on this guy and I'm gonna show you guys something that I like to do. I can select the points, do a transform, and then using the mouse wheel, we can do like a soft radius. So we can do stuff like, oops, stuff like this. Something like that. Can do this, but now I can select these guys and I can tweak them up and to the side. Then I can rotate them a little bit. And let's do the same thing for all of these guys. So even if it's extra work, the tool, what is useful about it, at least in this case, is that it was easy to explore different options. So I can slide this like so, and I can select the top section. Let me do this, and I can only select this. Okay, let me do this now. I can do it like so. And tweak it. Yeah. Then let me select these guys and tweak this out. Now I need to come back to here, maybe like so, and I can move this out. We need to delete whatever is inside. Yeah. And push this one out. Let's tweak it out and then do the same thing here. And I think we're making some decent progress here. So let me just extend. And slide. Yeah. Now I can make a hole here. select the edge, Shift A, and now I can do another extension. Just like that. And about these guys, I think we can't. Let me select this. Let me tweak it up. Okay, I think there is a point here. Yeah, we need to get rid of that guy, and might as well do the same thing here. So let me select the polys and tweak this up to the side, then down again. This is good. Now I can I'm thinking we could add a few more loops here. Maybe push this. Okay. Okay, let me see what else we could do here. We'll definitely push these two up. Tweak them up, I mean. Yeah, that's good. That's one thing we can do. The other thing will be to push these two guys out. Basically what I'm trying to do is add more interest to the overall shape. So this whole thing being like one straight up piece, it's bothering me a little bit. So I'm thinking how I should now maybe can do this exactly. Maybe push this out and up. Yeah, you see that? Beautiful. Maybe let's push this out just a little bit. Obviously, we need more geometry, but that's enough for now. The one thing that I can do is let me try an auto and maybe rotate from this dude like so. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. So what I'm thinking is we could add something here and then I can maybe push this in. Yeah. What if we do instead the same thing we just did, which is let me come here and do a rotation and then scale. Okay, that's not looking good. Let's keep straight. Okay, let me just try to add just a little bit more geometry and select these guys and push it in. Then scale it down. Okay, never mind. Let's keep it like that for now. While we figure out what to do. I promise I'm gonna stop. Jesus. Okay. Let's just push it a little bit more. Just a little bit. I have done Kitbash before. Not extensively, but that's my plan. It's just that, I mean, it's so easy to get lost in the detail. And yeah. But yeah, I definitely want to do Kitbashing. and try to use soft boolean, sorry, just to get some nicer edges. By the way, thank you for the compliments. But yeah, I definitely want to explore that. Yeah, you know what? I think we have been having trouble. I mean, these loops has been terminating behind the mesh. So let's just focus on this guy for a while and try to clean it up. I don't think we need this at all. Even this thing, we can delete it. So now we're not gonna get weird. Okay, so that was one reason we were getting that weird curve. But yeah, I definitely want to add some Kitbash details. Actually, that's why. Let me press I again. But that is why I made these guys. Just so we could, for example, let me come here and let me merge these two with combine. So I select two objects and do combine, and now they're one piece. And why don't we use the align tool? So now we do point. So we want to position. Okay, we don't have a middle point, so we have to make do with this one. But why don't we position this guy over here? And now, okay, did I screw it up? Let me see what happened there. I think I know what happened actually. Yep. This is what happened. So maybe we can get rid of the output right now because I think it served its purpose. Okay, no, never mind, because the instances are using the output, so we need to keep him around. So let's just play it nice for now. So we need to have the display below the output for our little trick to work. So we need to keep that in mind. But okay, coming back to this, Cyprian. So yeah, that's why I made these two guys actually, just to place them here. These are gonna be like bolts, like right now it's it's the positive, but I want to subtract it, so push it in. So that's my plan. And at least this piece, it's gonna look cool with some more like negative space made out of bolts and that kind of detail. So let me extract it again. So now we have two separate objects. And this is one good thing to practice, is to get familiar with extracting and combining pieces. That's why I haven't been naming things, because since we are subtracting and combining, we will be losing names. So it's like a waste of time, at least for now, to be naming things properly. And since it's like we can select everything from the viewport, then it doesn't matter, right? So let me fix this piece a little bit and then move this down. You know, I can select this edge and do a flatten down. Yeah. And we got something weird here, but it's because, yeah. So I tweak down that piece, and now I can add just a bit more detail over here. Maybe that was too much. I can slide it out like so. And we can add, yeah, something like that. And you see I'm subdividing stuff again. Do this. This is like a disease. So I can select this guy and bevel it. Obviously, if we add one more loop here, it's gonna be, yeah, I don't like that curve. We're gonna get rid of that curve at some point. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, actually. It's just that I want the whole design to be a little bit more straight, like a bit more aggressive in that sense. So let me just isolate this guy for a second, and I can move this, say, tweak this out. Okay, I think I can just flatten these guys, and then rotate it. Never mind. Yeah, let me see what I want to do here. These ones for sure I can do a flatten here. Then another one. Now I can tweak it out. Now I can select these two and do another flatten. Yeah. Okay, we got out of that situation. Now I want to do a pen tool and maybe slide this point. Yeah. That's a bit better. Just a bit. Let me select this edge and maybe let me try to rotate it from this point. If I do quick pivot and then press shift, I can point to this and it's going to rotate like so. That was control shift. It's a little bit different. Right now I don't know the difference. I just know that if it doesn't point to the direction that I want and I'm pressing shift, I press control shift and that usually does the trick. You know what? I said that, but I actually don't know. It's just that I assume the names won't be kept. So let's try that out because I don't want to speak bull, you know? So let me first make sure I come back to this and oh man, this is, you know what? It's starting to look somewhat decent. Okay, so let me just do, okay, shift right click and then do a sphere. And we're gonna name this guy like that, sphere sub, no, sphere Cyprian. And then we're gonna make another sphere, and this is gonna be called sphere Terry. Terry is my name, by the way. Let me ghost these guys. Okay, we're getting several spheres only because we have the. Okay, where are these guys? Let me choose. No, I'm a bit of a mess right now. It always happens once I get excited. So let me select the object, move it down. I select the object here. Where is this sphere, man? But we just made names here. Okay, I changed the name of the node, not the name of the object. So that's one mistake. So let's do that quickly. Okay, if I select this two, which is the same. Okay. It seems a little buggy, but it's because it's getting confused with the mirror. So that's why. So let's do that. Okay. Now we're good. So we have one sphere and then we have the other. So if I select the two spheres and then I do combine, here we got the names, which is good. This is especially useful if we are, for example, doing stuff semi-procedurally. But let's see what happens if I extract the other sphere. Let's say we extract the one that's named Terry because this one is still called Cyprian. But how do we know which one is which? There's actually a tool to do that. Let me see if I can find it. We can do tag. Let me see if I can do tag. text only. You know, I remember how to do this. If I do tag and then I do object name. Okay, we're close. Okay, that's it. Okay, this is a bit of a mess right now, but if we look at from the top, I mean, man, this interface is getting crazy. Check this out. Oh my God. So let me maybe do this. Okay, so now the moment of truth. I select, let's say, this guy, and I do an extraction. Ah, you see, we lost the names. Okay, so it wasn't a bad assumption. We did lose the name, but it's okay. I mean, that's to be expected. Yeah. So now we got that doubt out of the way. But it's okay because we are doing everything visually anyways. So let me go back to that. That interface got crazy. A little crazy. Yeah, I mean, this is looking interesting enough. Okay, so maybe it's time to, maybe let's push this guy to the, we need to make some sort of support around here. Right now, this is made out of 2 pieces. And actually, the hip is looking very, it's like only front facing. On the back, it's like flat. So maybe the key is to add more volume here. So let's take a look at reference to see, to get some ideas. Maybe what should we do with the backside? This is like an extrusion, and it's like, how do you say that? Less tall on the backside, and then we have an like an inset. So that's one way to do it. You see this sort of detail? These are the ones that I want to add later. These details in the corners, so nice. And also the holes. Yeah. But the thing is that I want to add this sort of detail with SDS. I don't want to use booleans. Not for this model. Not that I dislike or hate booleans. It's just that for this model, I want to go hardcore SDS. Like, okay, you can do this with Modeler. And it's the topology is so good that it's making me cry. I want to do something like that just to prove that it can be done with Modeler. And it's going to be hard, but very gratifying as well. So something like this for the backside, I don't think it's a bad idea. Yeah, I think between these two, this even though this is the front side, I think this for the back is good. And something like that. So let's see if we can do something similar. You know what? I saw the launch of SDF, and I immediately downloaded it. And the thing that there are 3 things that I thought about. First, the toolset was so professionally made that I was impressed. And the fact that it is open and I can see what this guy did was really inspiring. It's definitely not the most straightforward, but it's because the amount of control is giving you. So it's really nice that we have something like that. And actually, and this is a bit of a personal take, but I kind of didn't like that it was made for free. I think the guy should charge something for it, because let's say, okay, it's a cool thing that is free for now, but if the guy is not getting revenue for his work, it's gonna be hard to maintain. So it makes me a little bit wary to, learn how to use it if I'm not sure it's gonna get maintained. So that's one thing that I don't like about it. The fact that it's free, I like it, and at the same time I don't, because it's such a complex tool set that it needs a lot of updating just to get, really polished. And I would love for the guy to get money, because it's really professional. I mean, I was stunned. It's very well thought out, the tool set, because it's easy to make. Let's say easy. Obviously, it's easy to make one HDA, but the guy did a whole tool set, and you don't come out with that in one day. So yeah. So I would have loved for the guy to just charge something, anything like $5, $10. That's not too much, especially for something like that. For example, there is mobs, and mobs, there is a free version which is open, but there is also Mob Plus, which is extremely nice. And yeah, that's one way for him to, keep working on that tool. And yeah, I like the idea of having, let's say, two sides of the coin, like let's say an open version, then like paid DLC, so to speak. So I like that. But maybe the guy is preparing something like that. Who knows? Maybe I'm assuming things. But yeah, sometimes I see that they just. I mean, I like free stuff as much as the next guy, obviously. But yeah, it's more the times that I see something cool being completely free when he could be charging at least something, than the times I see uh, some tools properly priced. But yeah. Okay, so how do we make this more interesting than just an extrusion? Okay, let's go back to the reference. Okay, we need to push something inside. And if we take a look at this, it's like we can push this guy even further. Let's say a tweak. We tweak it out like that. And I can select all of this and move it down. Maybe this down as well. Obviously, we need to do something with this piece so that we can see this section. But right now, what I want to do is maybe move this down. Yeah, the icons as well. I mean, the guy put so much work into it. I was like I should get charged for this too. So yeah, I was really surprised. And the other thing, this is a bit more personal, but I was also mad because maybe I want to make tools as well, and now he's making the game harder for me to release something and ask for money, because he made such an awesome thing for free. So if I made something not as good and I charge for it, I I I don't feel so good about that. Like maybe I'm not giving enough value for money. But yeah. About the mob stuff, yeah, mobs is really good. I have the free and the paid version as well, but I'm not so much into simulation. My girlfriend, which is also a Houdini artist, she is more into simulation, and she uses the paid version a lot more. So yeah, because she uses the DOP stuff and things like that. So now this is the part where we. Oops. Let's terminate it that there, or maybe let's just not do it so cheaply. Let's just try to hide it. So let's do it there. And now I can. And you know, Cyprian, I wanted to ask, if you have mobs, then you must be doing motion graphics, right? I mean, that's the main thing that I think about when I see mobs. I come from cinema, by the way. Cinema 4D. So something like that. Maybe we can push this a little bit further, like so. And I can't do. Okay, what was that? Okay, obviously now this section is giving us some trouble. Okay. What? Where did this guy came from? Okay, let me see if I can fix this. Okay. Let's do. Or you know what? We can do it like this and nobody's gonna notice. And we can make fully quaded here if we do that. That's a neat trick. Now we can push this guy in, and now we are making details that nobody's going to see, but no, never mind. Let's not do that. Okay. So what else can we do here? You know, this is feeling like maybe we can add something. No, this is feeling like it should be a bit chunkier on the backside. So maybe I can select. I think the string went down for a second there. Okay. You know, it's funny that I say this, but I have one of my best friends is actually from Romania as well, and he's also called Cyprian. And he's the same age as me, which is, I mean, if I go by your name, that is your birth year, and that is my birth year as well. So it's funny that now I sort of know two Cyprians that are the same age, and he's also he also does CG and 3D. We have worked together a lot. He is one of the guys that actually pushed me to learn Houdini. So that's world is small. Yeah, man. But you know, I didn't know he was called Cyprian at first because everyone calls him Yang. So I when I know him, I met him by the name of Yang, but his actual name is Cyprian. But yeah. So yeah, man, what a small world. But I mean, it's super nice that you also do UX design. That's so cool. Okay, so let me just go back to this, and now I want to, yeah, I think this is looking good enough right now. Let me just flatten this guy because it's looking a little bit too uneven. So maybe we can do flatten and go for auto. And I take that you also like to model. You must also like to model stuff, which is if you like to model stuff, we are two weird guys that do motion graphics and like to model, because that's something rare to find. Yeah, Cinema is being improving the modeling toolset a lot. But if I understood the previous question, I do work in. I have been freelancing for my whole life, and at first I was doing only After Effects and stuff. So I started with After Effects, then I moved to 3D, and then I started with learning 3D with Maya a long time ago. Then I switched to Cinema. Then I learned Moto, and in Moto was where I really learned how to model. And then I spent a lot of time using both Cinema and Moto. And then I decided to switch to Houdini and do everything here. Yeah, but I don't use Cinema anymore. Not that I hate it or anything. It's just that I grew tired of some of the stuff because let's just say that it was getting a bit slow, and managing the data was getting harder. And a lot of my friends, young included, were starting to switch to Houdini, and I say, okay, maybe I should give it a try as well. And once I saw that I like it, I just never went back. Like I said to myself, I'm gonna do this one project in Houdini from start to finish without knowing anything. And I swear I went to sleep with headaches for a few days, because I was all day straight using Houdini without just throwing notes and pushing stuff around. And yeah, after that, that was my trial of fire, so to speak. Yeah, man, Moto is awesome. Yeah. I mean, they are still one of the best tools. It's just that, they forgot completely about the sculpting. I think that was a mistake. They should have improved on that. And they started to, I think they forgot to maintain the UI, because the UI is optimized for modeling. But now the program can do so much stuff, and the interface doesn't feel good for it. So it's like it's bloated, so to speak. And also, people started getting 4K displays, and the interface doesn't support scaling still. So if you have a 4K monitor, you are gonna suffer, like, a lot. So yeah. Oh, now we can, if you take a look at this, now it feels like we know what to do here. So maybe I can come back here and move this to the back, like so. Okay, now that's looking better. And we need to add a little bit more here, and maybe I can push this out. Let's just focus on getting this section right, and then we nail the topology, right? So let me just do this, and oh man, you see this? Now we could just come here and push this in. I know what you're thinking, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. Obviously, we need to add more topology. So we do that. So now I can do... Okay, no, never mind. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna tell you. Let's just slide this guy to here. Let's do that. And now I'm going to extend this in. Something like that. Now it's not looking too good, but let's just do that. Okay. All right. So let me just... Maybe if we also do something like this. Yep. Okay, so let me just... We need more topology. You know, I once received this advice, and the guy said, just add the topology, do whatever you need to do, and then fix it later. So for example, if I have a detail in mind, I just want to get it out and then fix whatever mess I made in the process. Obviously, if you get too unhinged, it's not good. But yeah, maybe I did get unhinged. So let me just go back a little bit and let's reflect on what is happening here. So I felt like we got it a moment ago. Let me just go back. Second. Okay, so let me select all of this. Okay. I delete this guy and select all of this, and now I connect it like that. Now we have this loop. Oh, you know what? This is easy. We can fix it like that. Okay. And after we have this, maybe I can... Okay. Let me just do this, delete these two guys, and do a bevel, and I slide it out. Like so. Maybe we don't need this edge. No, I think we do need it. Or do we? I think I can do that. Now we have an angle here, but now we don't have any angles. Okay, we're gonna make the topology pretty, but just not right now. But I want to somehow push this in, this section. Okay, so let me also do this. And let me see if let's include this section right now. Okay. Let me push it down. No. I think this is it. But we need to push this out as well. So let me just come here. And I'm gonna move this out like so. And yep. Now I'm thinking for this section we can just, not for right now, but just to see how it will look, we could push this in like so. Oh, not, never mind. No, we're doing a great job right now. So let me select this guy and push it out like so. Let me do a flatten auto. Yeah. Oops. Okay. Now I can come here and push this out like so. And slide this up. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, quad remeasure will work not for this particular piece, but a quad remeasure will work if you are doing booleans at first, and if you are, approaching it from a different style. Let's say, because right now, let's say I start making shapes and then I subdivide, and I make informed decisions based on the curvature, and you get a certain style by doing it that way. It's more like, I don't know if you know Vitaly, but Vitaly, before he did, before going full CAD workflow, because right now, at least from the latest interviews that he has done, which are a couple of years old now, but a lot of years old, he's working now with ZBrush and Moi. And then he does the basic topology stuff in XSI. I know he's still using that. But before all of that, he used to model everything in XSI and also using ZBrush. And he will start modeling his hard surface sci-fi stuff similar to this. And he will do a lot of subdivisions and then start adding loops and bevels like so. And you get this sort of smooth but not so smooth style. Vitaly, like so. You get a style similar to this one. Let me see if I can show you that style. If you model like that, it's easier to get this sort of detail, if I could find it. Let's say a model like this. It's easier to get it. I mean, obviously, right now you could use plasticity and more model software, but if you were to model more traditionally, you start with a blockout and then you do subdivision and then start adding loops. And you can see how it hardens the shape. But this nice curvature is it's not so hard to get it using subdivision surface. So you could model it like that. Yeah, man, Vitaly is awesome. Actually, but I don't think I have too many references to his style. Okay, this sort of detail, you see, it looks more like a car. I mean, obviously it's a robot, but it's so smooth. The details and the way the curves flow is very car-like, or maybe a motorcycle. And those are good examples of a model that will be easier to do with at least the shell with subdivisions, with a subdivision workflow. There is this one guy that's making tutorials. Let me see if I can show it to you. And he definitely nails the style. So it's called Elementza. Elementza. This guy used to model in C4D, but then he went to Maya because, it's a bigger user base. And maybe he grew tired of Cinema 4D modeling. But he's got a lot of tutorials on YouTube as well. Well, not a lot. Actually, he deleted some of his tutorials because he obviously made started making courses and stuff. but he made this model using purely SDS. Actually, everything, because he only works like that. But if you see a lot of guys in let's say Blender, they tend to use more like the more modern subdivision, the Boolean workflow, which is good. But now they have so many add-ons that they have a lot of tools to fix the ugliness that you get from the Boolean workflow right away. So it's less painful to do in Blender only because they have so many add-ons available. And I'm not complaining. Actually, if I were to use Blender, I would just do. Um, I will immediately go to those add-ons. Okay, so now this is looking interesting. Let me choose. Maybe we should change the color of this so it, let me do that and then this as well. Okay, let's do it properly. Then I grow the selection like so. Then I Control X, Control B, and we can isolate. Now, why don't we, and this is just for convenience, make a single piece. Now I can select, let's say, these four edges. Then I do loop selection, and then I go for bevel. We can see how this looks. Okay, let's use, okay. Now let's do the classic. I mean, let me do that one more time and then push it in. Then do one more time and do an inset. This never gets old. I promise. Let's do just do it one more time. Actually, we can do it a little bit more interesting if we do it like this. Yeah. And maybe we can push this guy in a little bit. So, when we have a flat group like this, we can just pick it and it will go in a straight line. And that's the fastest way to do that. If you pick it. And now we can give it a different color. So we can just, we can do pick color and select the same face. And then we select the same color. But since I only want to make it lighter, that's a good speed hack, so to speak. Now we have something like that. Okay, that's looking better. All right. That was a nice break. So let's see if we can push it a little bit further before we end the stream, guys. It's nice having people around. So maybe we can do something like that and we can scale it down like so. Now, just to make it a little bit more interesting, I can do a flatten and then we can pick it inside. And let's remember that if we have a flat surface and we pick it, it moves in a straight line. Well, it should move in a straight line. So let me now push this out, tweak it out like so. And maybe, is that enough? Yeah, it's looking a bit like a toy. Yeah, this section right here needs to look like, let me change the color. Maybe choose something darker. That, I don't think the colors are working for us right now. So that's the first thing that I want to do. Now I want to come here and maybe slide this further. Maybe let's select the whole row of polygons. And I can tweak it to the side. Let me flatten this. Move it to the side like so. And I do this. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's one thing we can do. Let's see what else is there. I think that we also need to make this thicker on this side. Yeah. And obviously we can flatten this. Like so. Move it out a little bit, and maybe we can see it from the front and do a knife. Okay, let me see if we can indeed do it. Knife. Okay. Then you can select the whole thing. Maybe do an insert. Or no. Let's not do that. That's the only problem, that we lose our selection, but we can do an extension. But what we do instead is just scale it down. Yeah. What if I were to scale it? No, I don't think this is gonna work for us. But I could then come here, select this, and then maybe this, and then push it in. Maybe. Yep. I just need to take care of, let me do an edge loop. Do that one more time. Now I can do this. That's good. Then let me slide this, or never mind, let's not do that. I can instead do this, so that we play with that edge. Not sure how I feel about this shape. We're gonna do something about it for sure, but maybe not right now. But the thing that's bothering me the most is this piece right now. I think it's best if we first, you know, oh, I think this is its own object. Yeah. So let me hide everything else. Let's see if we can complete this guy. Maybe we can figure out a cool trick. So I will select this thing, select this thing, and we're missing like 6. Let me first count how many do we have. 16. So I think 24 will be the right amount of edges, total edges for the circle, complete the circle. So now I'm just going to bridge these two guys, and I want to increase the divisions to 8. That's what I want to do, right? So let me just select this just to make sure. 24, right? And now I can. Okay, we haven't lost our node state. Now I can use curve mode, and we can do this. Obviously, okay, we cannot see it here, and it's not perfect, but what we can do now is we can select. Let me see if I select this like this, and now I select all the loops, forgot one. And let's not use that one. Now we circle it. That's great. Now we only have to fix this one in the middle, or maybe we don't need to do that. Maybe I can just delete these two guys, come here and do a loop. if you press, I mean, check this out. I can put a loop wherever, and if I press C and I slide it, the first one that is made is exactly in the middle. Now we can connect these two guys. Yeah. The command that I just used, it's literally called connect, this one, Chief X for me. Hey. Yeah, man. I have used the lattice before, and I use it mainly on the shell pieces because the shell pieces do need to have a bit more flow. But since these ones have like, let's say, the straight edges, if I do a lattice in, I will have to keep it really like maybe a box lattice, just not to mess the, let's say, the straight, like the nature of the shapes. Like for example, this is straight. But yeah, I do plan to make the UVs, and I also plan to make it UDIMs. I want to do UDIMs, like a good healthy amount of UDIMs. Yeah, that's my plan at least. Um, I do have a few tricks that I have done in the past to work with UVs, but we are definitely going to discover a lot of cool techniques because I have never done UVs on what this will become in the end, like a really like a big model. So this is going to be a good test for that. So maybe, yeah, this is missing just a little bit of something. Yeah, I think I can just leave this piece in peace, and then it's going to come to me. Okay, let me do this. Maybe just one more. Okay, sorry. That. Now I can keep going like so. Then let's do an extension. We scale it down a little bit. Uh, it's a bit repetitive, but maybe there is hope. Let me select this guy. And then I do flatten up. Then we leave it alone for now. Okay, maybe, you know what? Maybe this is it. If we make it look a bit more squarish, we're gonna get it. So let me just hide everything else. Let's get this dude in line. So I'm going to add hold handles. Can I toggle this? Okay, yeah, finally. I don't know what this bug is, but let's ignore it for now. Yeah. Okay, so let me see if I can set this up correctly. We will have to select all of these guys, and then them like so. Let me use tweak instead. Let's do the same thing Let's do the same thing here. Okay. Now let's select these guys and try to... this is trickier. So maybe let's not do it, since I'm not sure what I'm selecting. But it's pretty crazy that you can work in Houdini like this. Okay, let me see if we destroy this mesh. Seems like somehow we did it. Okay, okay, mistakes were made, but this is nothing. I expected worse. So for the future, the right way would have been to do this, invert the selection, and then isolate this piece, right? Now, and then we keep this part safe. Yeah, but I think this was a good move. So now that we have it like this, I think we can proceed to do a flatten. To this side. Like so. Maybe this, we can push it in just a little bit. Maybe. Maybe not. And this side, it's a bit more difficult, but I think the most important side is this one. What if we do something like that? Let me discard that flatten for now. We need to make this sharper. So okay, let me see if I do this and I delete these two guys. And then I can select this and delete it. And I can use the pen tool now and just run it over here. See what we get. Okay, I definitely love this section right here. I think here it's looking pretty good. Let me just do it like that. And if you do fill, you have a proper shape, a proper feel, I should say. Okay, so maybe if I slide this guy, well, maybe not slide it, but just move it a little bit to the inside, then up. Yep, that's better. And I do the same thing here. I know the edges are difficult to see right now. Believe me, for me as well, the Houdini is definitely not doing its best right now. So let me... Jesus. Okay. What if I delete this? Never mind. Yeah, maybe... What if I move this to the side? Yeah, well, the whole thing. So the whole thing will be... I do it like this. Let's do a transform. A fall off, I mean. Then we do it vertical, linear. I just do that. Now I just scale it. Okay, what is happening? Let me drop that, then choose scale. It's better do a flatten, and yeah, you know what? Let's forget about it, and we need to do some work here. Well, you have all the toys, I see. I also have all the tools. Well, you can see here that I have it, but yeah, man, you have all the toys as well. Have you used the Substance Painter like bridge with all the tools successfully? Because to me, it has been a bit of a hit and miss. I have it through Steam, and sometimes it's a little bit messy. Let's just fix this guy, which the pen tool makes it really easy to fix. I can say the same for the viewport, the wireframe. Okay. Yeah, I think we can leave this piece alone for a while. Or maybe, hmm, maybe I'm having second thoughts on this section. Oh, come on. Okay. That was close. So I do I do quick pivot, and I move this guy down, and I press Alt just to snap it to this guy, and now I can scale it up. Like so. Now, since we have these two guys, and we want to get rid, we want to merge them. One thing we could do, let me see if I can get this right. One thing we could do is just to increase a little bit the selection, and now we just fuse. All right, now let me move the arm slider a little bit. I think that should be enough, right? Now I delete this guy, and we effectively, I think we did a decent job there. So the last thing that I'm gonna do to this guy before leaving it alone for a while will be to, okay, maybe let me get rid of this for now. If I do this, yeah, I also use RefChief. Although everything that I do for personal work or my own clients, what I use Karma. I have been trying to use Karma since the previous version of Houdini. So I have been using Karma personally for my own clients. But with my colleagues, when we work together and with other studios that I sometimes work with, it's RefChief. Although I have been lucky enough where I have been lucky enough that they have made a switch to Solaris as well. So yeah, I have been able to use my favorite toy. My favorite new toy besides Modeler, which is Solaris. Okay, I think let me do one more thing. I actually have to leave right now. So let me see if we can close this on a high note. So let's push this. Let me see if I can do something stream before we leave. A stream. So move this up like so. Yeah, you know what? I think we got it with this change. We definitely need to work on this edge. Okay, I think we have it here. Okay. Still needs some work, but okay. Now we do that. And now for the final act, one more to the inside. We slide it in like so. And now we push this guy a little bit up even. And we select this whole thing and scale it down like so. Yeah, man. I think we are close. Let me push this out. Yeah, I'm not liking if I do this and then I do a flatten to this side. Yeah. Oh man, the flatten tool is so useful. So useful. Never forget that it exists. So let me. Your best friend when subdividing. Definitely. Okay, now you see it's almost perfect. Okay, I think this last detail came out really nice. I feel better about moving this to the front, maybe. Something like that. Now let's take a look at everything together. Okay. And let's just pick a nicer color. So maybe I choose this one. Okay. Oh, Solaris is great. Yeah, thank you for the compliment. Oh, there is definitely a few tricks with that, but we're going to nail those when we're rendering this guy. But yeah, the color space it applies correctly. You need to fiddle a little bit with this new guy, but right now I don't remember quite yet what you need to do. But I'm sure in the forum somebody posted something because I got share a link from the forums. Saul did some clarifications. So yeah, it definitely doesn't look that flimsy as it was before. Doesn't look as flimsy as before. I think we need to add more volume to the overall hip. Maybe we make this piece thicker and that will be it. And that will bring balance to the world. Yeah, definitely. These two pieces, we make it thicker. And yeah. And somehow we add something here so it's got a better silhouette and we can move then to the knees. And yeah, we need to rescale this a little bit because it's looking a bit funny right now. But yeah, I think that's it for today. Maybe I'm gonna do one more string on the night or maybe tomorrow morning. But yeah, man, thank you for sticking so long. It was fun having you here. But yeah, that's it for today.